and Kyle Odegaard.
Hey, Isaiah. Can you just talk about the challenges it's been for you as a rookie with everything that's going on in the world in the NFL, and how optimistic are you that you'll be able to, have a legitimate shot to crack the starting lineup and see quality playing time this year?
Yeah, I think the hardest part about it is honestly just not knowing how things go at the professional level, and then coming into this is obviously a struggle. Just like I said, just learning each and every day of how things operate on the professional level, because it's a lot different than college. So just learning everything virtually opposed to being hands-on with everything and actually sitting within meetings and whatnot is a little bit tougher, but at the same time, everybody's in the same position. So.
Hey, Isaiah, thanks for taking the time. Just wondering, have you been mostly just in the inside linebackers room? Have you gotten to see other rooms just because everyone's talked about your positionalist nature, or is it just inside linebacker right now? Let's get that straight.
Yeah, everything has been inside linebacker. It's been a main focus just for me to focus on only one position, and that's about it on that.
Isaiah, so with the transition being kind of difficult and not having the off season, do you adjust your personal expectations for this year where it might be harder to do as much or have as big of an impact as you thought you could?
No, I'm not going to adjust my personal goals just because we're having like a little adversity with this whole pandemic. So it's either I'm going to achieve my goals or I'm not at the end of the day. So I don't feel like I should lower my expectations or my standards for myself just because, there's a few obstacles in the road. So I'm still pushing to do the best I can and make the biggest and best impact that I possibly can for this organization.
Next three questions would be Craig Fouey, Mark McClune, Catherine Fitzgerald.
Hey, thanks, Isaiah. Appreciate it. Hey, can you just explain what the days are like for you guys now, what the schedule looks like? Are you at the facility? Your coach talked yesterday about walkthroughs. What's the day look like for you guys?
Yeah, so finally we got the opportunity to come back in the facility, and we have our meetings in the morning. Following that, we have a walkthrough and then a lift. And then after lunch and everything, then we have virtual meetings to finish out the day. So it's a pretty smooth day, I would say. It's just really nice to finally be able to come back in the building and put faces with names and whatnot. So just good to see everybody in person.
Hey, Isaiah, good to see you. Curious, who are some of the guys in the league that you're watching some tape of to try to emulate as you make the transition to the pro game? And also, you talked about your goals. What can you share of your goals for your rookie season here?
Honestly, I don't specifically watch one person. I watch a lot of different defensive players just because there's always going to be small little tidbits or like techniques and things that different players do that I can incorporate in my game, because I wouldn't really call myself a traditional linebacker. So I take like coverage skills from DBs and then pass rush moves. I mean, I could just look at Chandler. We see how great of a pass rusher he is. So I've been making sure that I really watch him a lot on film, along with Von Miller, guys like that to get pass rush moves. And then, like I said, DBs like Jalen Ramsey, Tyrann Mathieu, also just to steal a couple things from them to also throw in my game. And goals-wise, nothing really specific. Like I'm not gonna come out here and say I just want to be Defensive Rookie of the Year. I mean, that would be great and all, but I believe if I just come out there and play, then everything, whatever falls in place, it falls in place. But my biggest goal is just to be able to make as big of an impact as I can as a rookie for this organization.
Hey, Isaiah, thanks for joining us. When you mentioned the focus on the one position, how much of that is because of just making the jump from college to the NFL, and how much of that is due to, all the virtual aspects of this off season?
I think it's all just that's where my coaches want me to play. Everybody's paid to do their job out here, so I don't know if I'm necessarily needed to do everything that I had to do in college. So.
Next three questions, Darren Urban, Sierra Santos, David Brandt.
Hey, Isaiah, I'm curious how much you have been able to do in terms of physical activity in the run up before this, like on your own in terms of training. And when you look at the schedule, and I don't know how much you've looked at how the schedule is going to play out before you guys start playing regular season games, is there any part of you that's concerned that you won't have enough time to do actual football before you start playing games that count?
No. So, I mean, before I got to Arizona, I had the luxury of having my own personal trainer. So me and him, we were going at it pretty hard for a very long time, just to making sure I stayed ready so I never had to get ready. And, just the schedule leading up, I feel as if the game at this level, it all comes down to mental. So, if I'm mentally sharp, I know that the physical part will always be there. So just knowing that I'm going to make sure I'm going to be mentally sharp. It's not going to be something that I'm going to lack on. And if that falls in place, like I said, the physical part will be there, and, everything will be good.
You mentioned all the ins and outs of being a pro and learning those aspects. What's been the biggest adjustment in making the transition? What's the biggest thing you learned?
The biggest thing I've learned so far?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, once again, it's not college. You could be here today, be gone tomorrow. So just bringing everything you have, and I mean, it's just a lot of small things that come with being a pro. One of the main ones I say is taking care of your body. And luckily at Clemson, that was a really big emphasis. So it's just something that I've always known. I haven't really known any different, but to take care of my body. So just little small things like that. And you have a lot more free time, and you have to understand that, yeah, it's just us rookies here right now. We're getting all the reps and everything. But when the vets come, obviously reps decrease, and you have to spend a lot of time on your own studying and perfecting your craft.
Hey, Isaiah, I was just curious. I knew you said that you were concentrating mostly on inside linebacker right now and everything, but and that's what, like you said, other guys are paid to do other things. But do you see yourself like in the future as a one position guy, or would you like to be more, 2 or 3 different positions like you were at Clemson? What's kind of the ultimate goal for that?
I don't necessarily say I have a goal for it. Personally, I just, in any way I can help the team, I'm always up for it. So if I get into a situation where I need to play more than one position, if that's what the coach wanted me to do, then that's what I would do. But as of right now, I'm just inside linebacker. So that's what I'm 100% focused on.
Next three, Bob McManaman, Cam Cox, Howard Balzer.
Hey, Isaiah, a couple things. Curious if the playbook you've gotten is bigger or shorter than the COVID packet they probably gave you. And what was it like signing your contract the other day? What was that like emotionally and spiritually for you?
Yeah. But with all these COVID mandates, I feel like it's something new every day. So one thing about the playbook is it hasn't really changed much. But yeah, so signing the other day, it was actually really, really cool, regardless of all the stipulations with people, the owner not being able to be present. But it was still a really, really cool deal. We did it virtually. And, that's just like something that I've always dreamt of doing. And being able to literally have my dreams become reality was really just such a blessing for me. And, that's a day that I will always remember no matter what, signing my first NFL contract.
Isaiah, thanks again for the time. Curious as to what you make of all the new safety procedures. You've been in locker rooms your entire life. Just What are some of them? And also, what do you make of the little device you have to wear, I guess, on your credential or something like that, that makes sure you stay 6 feet apart from other people?
Yeah, just I go through when I think about all of that, I think it's all for the good of me. So the good of all of us. Everything that's going on is literally to help us, so we'll be able to have a season this year. So thinking of it in that way, opposed to, like, this is not what I want for my rookie year. Thinking of all the negatives, I think of all the positive things that are coming out of it. So if everybody follows all the rules and everything, then we'll have a season. Players will be happy, fans will be happy. But going about it with a negative mindset that's just not the way I go with it. But like I said, the device obviously is helpful. The daily COVID tests. I feel like it's nice to know that I don't have corona each and every day, but um, those things, I feel like they're very beneficial to help us all. So.
You talk about the good of everyone and following the rules. There's a lot of talk, obviously, of players being smart when they're away from the facility. Have the coaches emphasized that? Do you talk among yourselves about being smart when you're wherever you go after after work day and not being in places where you shouldn't be?
Yeah, so we definitely talked about that, because one thing that's different about here than college is a lot of guys on the team, they're going home to their wives and children. So it's not just worrying about you; it's worrying about your teammates and people around you, because you could be impacting more than just you or the guy next to you if you're out being careless, out around a lot of people, exposing yourself to possibly getting the disease disease. So, like I said, just honestly, just taking all the precautions really serious and knowing what you could be exposing yourself or your teammates or coaches to, knowing that they most likely have people to go home with, or just it could even be your family, just knowing who they're around, and just thinking about who they could be exposed to, possibly bringing it back to you, which you could carry to other people. So, it's kind of a lot to think about, the long line of who could be exposed to what, but, it's something that's very necessary if we want to have a season this year.
Okay, we'll wrap it up with the final four: Catherine Fitzgerald, Craig Fouey, Greg Moore, Kevin Zimmerman.
Hey, Isaiah. I know it's been a few weeks since it at this point, but I was interested in the march you were at in Clemson that was led by student athletes, and kind of where you see your role in using your voice, particularly at places like Clemson, where you're a recent grad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this all really started when I was at Clemson with me, using my voice. They have this program called Paul Journey, which is life after football, or they also call it like the fifth quarter. And, we learn different things in there about how to use your voice in a positive way. If you have the platform, why not use it? So, a couple of my good friends, Trevor Lawrence, Darian Rencher, Cornell Powell, Mike Jones, they actually organized that themselves. It wasn't something that the school was doing. And it was a really, really good, beneficial event. Tons of people came out to show support, and obviously express how they felt about things. And I happened to actually be in Clemson at the time, and there was no way I wasn't going to go and show support, especially because of how I feel about some of the things going on in the world. It definitely has to be changed, but just being over there to support was really big for me, especially with some of my good friends who put it on. So I really enjoyed the event, thought it was very beneficial for a step in the right direction.
Isaiah, I asked earlier about your day, what that's like, but I want to know about the accommodation, what it's like being in Arizona. What's the hotel like? How you getting around, and what are you doing for eating, dinners and stuff when you're not at the facility?
Well, it's hot. It's definitely hot here, but getting around wise, I have a rental car, but I don't really go anywhere. My brother's here right now, so my mother's here as well. So we sometimes we go out to eat. But other than that, I kind of just hang out. I'm a homebody kind of guy. So I just kind of hang out, and our nutrition staff, they have meals for us. So I eat that and just hang out. Like I said, it's not really anything to do anyway. Like the whole state's shut down, but even if it wasn't, I'm kind of just a chill, stay at home kind of guy. Especially like with the heat, I don't think I want to go outside. So.
Isaiah, how are you? Greg Moore, Arizona Republic. I was going to ask you about your life away from the facility and to see whether you were having any culture shock, how Phoenix was treating you, but you addressed it all. Now I want to know, is there anything about football, actual football, that you're looking forward to, something that you're missing, something that you're really eager to get back to on the field?
I think just the whole game in general. I just missed the whole game of football. The practices suck, but those are some of the best times you have with your teammates. So I just miss like the practices and obviously the games, but it's just something that I'm so accustomed to. But I just miss all those things, just being around your teammates, having fun, cracking jokes, all of that kind of stuff. So I definitely miss football. So I say that's what I'm really most looking forward to.
Hey, Isaiah, just wanted to ask if there's any vets or any teammates that you kind of just personality-wise click with, or you're spending a lot of time with off, the Zoom calls, texting or whatnot, that you've gotten to know really well in the last few months?
One of the vets I probably talked to the most is Jordan Hicks. He's helped me a lot through this. Whenever I have a question, I know I can ask him, and he's going to hit me back as fast as he possibly can. So Jordan, he's a really good guy and has been helpful for me throughout this process.
All right, that's it. Isaiah, thanks so much for taking the time, and to all of you, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Isaiah.
Thanks, Isaiah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.